Hey guys, what's going up? It's Wednesday. Welcome to it. Gonna get started here in 2 minutes. I'm out of cold brew, but I've had mine. If you've had your coffee for the day, drop some fire emojis into the chat or into the comments. Still riding on the high of the show being in iTunes now and on the forgetfulness of not putting up my soundproofing. So while the clock is counting down, let me do that, and then we're gonna get started here with today's episode. That should do it. It sounds absolutely night and day difference in here. One more thing. Let's fix this. Absolutely crazy to me how much of a difference putting some soft things in the room makes. Like just being right here, because I'm talking against a window and a corner, should probably put something soft right here. But man, even in the recordings, it sounds totally different. So we're gonna get started here in just a second. If you're here and you're jamming live, let me know, and because I want to shout you out on today's episode or in an upcoming one, you, your business, your socials, all of it. Okay, today's topic, if you build it, they will not come. Let's get into this and let's get this going together. Hey, what's going on? Jeremy here from whatupjeremy.com, back with another episode of Client by Client. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you why if you build it, they will not come. And this is one of the 7 sins of online coaching. And I'm going to find my notes here so I know exactly which one it is. There's our commandments. Let's pull up here we go. Yes. In today's episode, what we're going to be talking about is why if you build it, they will not come. If you recall in episode 3, we talked about the 7 sins of online coaching, and sin number 1 is building it first. And so I thought today it would be proper if we dove more into this so that I can really communicate to you why you don't want to be building your coaching program before you have paying clients and what to do instead. In the last episode, I shared with you why being fancy in your coaching business is absolutely killing your results and holding you back from getting clients consistently. And I shared with you 3 things that you can do right now to either self-identify if you're being too fancy and you're worried about the wrong things, not putting first things first. And so what you can do instead, and a little bit of a game plan so that you can start focusing on results and getting coaching clients in. But that brings us here to today. So if you build it, they will not come. If you don't get today's episode right, 2 things happen. The first thing is that you wind up creating a coaching program that paying clients don't want. And the reason why this happens is because you're making your coaching program in isolation, meaning you're making it without real people who have also paid, they have skin in the game to actually go through it. And so what winds up happening is that when you do actually have someone who is ready to work with you and has the investment, you run the risk of the thing that you have to deliver for them not being exactly what they're wanting. So on that sales call, you're either going to try to force a square peg in a round hole, or you're going to have to pivot and get back to offering what you're comfortable with, which is selling yourself by the session and not having a coaching program that you can build and serve and deliver in a one-to-many fashion so that you can help more people and not be stuck at your laptop or your desk all day long. Online coaching is amazing, but if you don't get these parts right, you just wind up with another day job. And so we talk a lot on this show about not selling yourself by the session and selling the result instead. It's impossible to do that if you don't have a way to deliver your knowledge on a one-to-many basis. It can start one-on-one, and I have some caveats for this, but the first thing that happens is you run the risk of building something that your market doesn't want. The second thing that happens is that you have to go and rebuild, is that when you actually get into the right stage, when you get in the right mindset, you stop selling yourself by the session, you've done all of this work already, and you have to go and rebuild what the market actually wants. What your prospect, let me get more specific here, what your prospects that make it to a sales call with you actually want. And so that's what happens when you don't get today's episode right. So let's talk about what to actually do and how to overcome and combat all of this. Like this episode is called, If You Build It, They Will Not Come. So what do you need to do instead? The first thing that you need to do is create a minimum viable program, MVP. This is a pillar in the Get Clients program that all of my students, both new and seasoned coaches, go through in our curriculum, in our fundamentals. And so the idea here is that to create, most coaches think that in order to create an offer, you got to go and film the modules and make the worksheets and have it all in your Kajabi and all of that. I want you to make it far more simple. What I want for you to do is pull out a piece of paper, and if nothing else, write out 12 weeks of modules. So 12 modules, just the title. What would they be? What would you need to cover? Not going in depth with what you're going to be teaching inside of there, not going in depth and starting to visualize the worksheet, just what do they need to learn? Now, in the Get Clients program, we give you a framework. Template is not the right word, but closer to fill in the blank model is closer to a better description of what it is. And what I teach is something that I call the planets model. At the center of the planets model is the big result you help your clients get. It should be on the label the same way that 4-hour energy or the 4-hour work week. It kind of tells you what you get on the cover of the book or the cover of the title, okay? You know that you're going to drink a 4-hour energy. There's a new one, I think it's called a midday bar. And it's like, well, when do you eat it? Well, midday. So you buy it at the grocery store knowing that this is going to be your new midday snack. It's on the label what it is. So at the center of your planets model, in a circle, should be the big result. On the outside of that circle, there are 3 prongs that come out. One directly from the bottom, one on the left, and then one on the right. It's kind of like upper left, upper right. And the idea is that on each of these prongs should be the 3 big problems that your coaching program is helping people to overcome. And like in this step, and this is more for my listeners who consider themselves seasoned coaches, this is where most already start to get it wrong, is because they're already starting to think in fairy tale, future, promised results. At the center is where we want to do that, or at the center of your planets model should be the one single big problem that your market has, and on the outside it should be like the 3 problems inside of there that they need to overcome. We have to stay in the mode of thinking in problems at this stage, and then when you have your 3 problems, you think, okay, what's the promised land? What's the opposite of each of these problems? So in my planets model, at the center is get clients or get 15K a month. The first problem at the bottom, we're talking problem still, is either no offer and like a murky niche. So you're missing niche clarity and your offer sucks, put another way. The alternative of that, what I help you through in the first modules of the Get Clients program, overcomes those 2 problems. We get you super clear on your niche. We get you super clear on your offer and your minimum viable program. So already, after just a little bit being in the program, after 1 day, you at the end of it, you know exactly who it is you're here to serve, or you have refined clarity on it. And then, because you might have a niche right now, but you're not thinking about it in terms of problems. So the first thing we do is we get you thinking in terms of problems and clarifying your niche. And the next thing that we do is we start to put together an outline for your offer using this model and this framework I'm verbally describing to you right now. I also have a full training on this planets model and the templates available in my Leverage Coach group. I put my best stuff in there and my most helpful resources in there so that you can get a nice little taste of what it's like to work with us, or so that you can go and get results, because it's my job whether you're paying a client or not. Because it's my job whether you're a paying client or not to help you get results and to be of service to you in your online coaching business. And so I take the best parts of the program and I make parts of them available over in the Leverage Coach group. So be sure to get over in there if you're not yet, and you can get all access to this. And so you wind up with one big problem and one big result in the center, and then you have 3 sub-problems and 3 sub-promises that go around the outside. And then now we're going to think in modules. Each one of those problems and solutions is going to have 3 moons or satellites, little baby planets that come off of each of those. And those wind up being the exact modules and the exact way that you're going to teach and coach your clients through overcoming those 3 problems. So we need to create a minimum viable program. And I'm going to simplify this even more. Your offer, your program should fit on a napkin, and it should be that simple. And it should be problem oriented, and then also showcasing what the opposite is, and that creates a gap. This creates space between your prospect and you for them to walk towards you, for them to have something to actually need you for. So it's important that you think in problems if you're not already. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're not thinking in problems. I can promise you that. We have to think in problems and lead with problems in our market, because no one's waking up saying, I want to coach, but they are waking up saying, my bank account's not where I want. I don't have enough clients. God, I hate my body. I hate myself. I'm not happy with this thing. This is how human minds are thinking, so we need to enter the conversation going on with that and position our brand, our content, and our coaching programs to those problems. You need to create a minimum viable program, and this means pen and paper, not setting up a camera, designing worksheets, filming modules, and doing all of that, because you need paying clients first. Thing number 1, you have to create a minimum viable program, and it should be as simple as fitting on a napkin. It should be problem oriented, and it should tell you what the solution is right on the cover of it. So mine is, you don't have enough clients. The promise is, let's get you to 15K in the next 90 days or double your client base ASAP. Thing number 2 is, now we're going to get into the actual selling of it. And at this point, if you're following this framework, or if you're getting started and following this framework in the episode, this means you don't have any paying clients. But what you do have is an idea, and you have an outline of the idea in the form of the planets model, in the form of a model or a framework that describes the problems that your market has, where you want for them to be, and creates an open gap. So what we need to do now is we need to validate that. We need to basically go out and test it in the marketplace by selling it. One of the 10 commandments, I know we're talking about one of the sins here, but the first of the, very picky about who I work with. So if you're a relationship-focused coach who always puts the person ahead of the transaction, you've been coaching for at least 1 year, you're ready to take on 3 to 5 clients organically from Facebook or Instagram every month without spending money on ads, you have at least 300 Facebook or Instagram friends or list subscribers or group members, you're willing to take bold action because you know that your success is dependent upon you, and lastly, you can keep a secret, then I want for you to message me or comment the words case study. And I'll share with you what we have coming up this month, how we're helping other students in the Get Clients program with this, and what this might mean for you and your online coaching business. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode, which we will be talking about why you only, nope, that's not it. In the next episode of Client by Client, I'm going to be sharing with you the mistakes you make when joining a coaching program and how to avoid them. So whether it's my coaching program or someone else's, I'm going to be sharing with you the mistakes I made upon entering coaching programs and put them on your radar so you can avoid them and get the most out of whatever coach or coaching program you sign up with. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another episode of Client by Client. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Super appreciate you. Drop some love if you've made it here through to the end on the replay or here live. Would love to shout you out. Don't forget to leave a comment or review. The show is now live in Apple Podcast and in Spotify, so find that in your favorite player, and be sure to give us a subscription. And if you're loving